welcome back to Behind the Plate with the Southeastern BBQ Showdown. Now, we've so far met a food celebrity. We have met one of our competitors who is literally a rock star in the food sport world. And now we're going to meet another person with the event that is adding to the mystique, is adding to the allure and the uniqueness of this inaugural event, the Southeastern BBQ Showdown, because it takes place in Columbia, South Carolina, in the home of the Fireflies, which is none other than Segra Park. And I can tell you, as a baseball fan, I've been to a lot of parks, major league, minor league, kind of everything in between. Segra is a stunner. It is literally one of the greatest parks I've been to. There's not a bad seat. Everywhere is pristine. It's new. It's updated. When you walk around the park, you can literally make an entire lap and find something for everyone, whether that is the kids, adults, teens, it doesn't matter. Everybody loves Segra Park. So what better place to hold a barbecue food sport event than in a baseball park? So today we're going to welcome to the show someone who has an encyclopedic knowledge of Segra Park, and that is Brad Shank. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Mark?
Man, I'm doing great. We're inching closer and closer. We've been at this for months together, this journey. And man, every time I make that trip to the park, I'm just like, wow, we could not have picked a more picturesque, exciting location than Segra Park.
Yeah, and I mean we're excited too because we love to be on the front end of things and be a first. And so to have a food sport competition in a sporting venue for the first time ever, I mean that is music to my ears because we like to be trendsetters.
So tell us a little bit about Segra Park. What makes that ball field so unique, so special that it is in a massive draw all in and of itself?
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of years, a lot of research, and a lot of visiting other ballparks. We've our ownership group has been a part of building. This is the second ballpark that we built. First one was in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Before we built that, between our owner, different folks from that staff, we went and visited, I think, somewhere around 78 different ballparks. And our questions that we came in and asked them were, first and foremost, what would you do differently if you could do it over again? What mistakes can we avoid? And then being able to pull in, the best parts of all of these different ballparks that we went and visited. Whether that's the bar out in center field, which is kind of an ode to the ballpark in Nashville, where the Sounds play. That was one that we literally made a change order. We were under construction 2 months from opening the ballpark, and we said, this bar is too good. We've got to copy it. So we made a change order and totally changed the bar out there. But really, it's like you said, different experiences. We like to build our ballparks kind of with neighborhoods, so that there's 9 or 10 different neighborhoods throughout the ballpark, whether that's sitting on the lawn, seats out in the outfield, whether that's bringing a blanket with your family and doing that. If you've got younger kids, that's a great area to go to. We allow dogs to come to the games, on Wednesdays throughout the season so they can bring their dog out there. Whether it's sitting at a high top table and having almost like a dinner at the ballpark experience where you've got wait staff actually serving you at your table, or it's those classic seats right behind home plate that literally our front row here is 45 feet from home plate. So you are 15 feet closer to the catcher than the pitcher is when you're sitting in those seats. So it's really all about just creating those different unique experiences and providing something for everybody. Whether you're here with a group or whether you're coming with your family, you're going to have a great time.
I mean, you really do, because I've gone down there. I've had the twins down there. It is such a fun atmosphere. You really are right there. Like, I couldn't believe how close I was to the pitcher sitting in those seats beforehand. And I was lucky enough to throw out the first pitch, and you just kind of look up and you see the stands and you see how engaged the crowd is. It really is another member of the team when you go to Segra Park. Now, they're the home of the Fireflies. Tell us a little bit about the team itself.
Yeah, so we were in our inaugural season in 2016. So the ballpark was built, shovels in the ground, starting January of 2015. We built the ballpark in 14 months, which is astounding. It's a $37 million ballpark. This is part of, and we're kind of the engine of a big development. So the Bull Street District, which is the larger district that we are a part of, before this was the state mental asylum. So this had been 181 acres that had been the grounds for the state mental asylum for over 150 years, dating all the way back to the 1800s. I mean, this site was a POW camp in the Civil War. I mean, just like the history,
Wow.
everything that goes around it. But it was a self-sustaining community. So now they're taking all of these, older buildings and repurposing them. So there's a building that was literally the bakery for the entire site that is now a tech incubator. There's the laundry building that they've started to redo the inside of that, and they're going to turn it into some sort of office space and maybe a brewery. Other older buildings, the asylum building is now 209 apartments that people are living in. So we're a part of that, and we were the first piece because you needed something that would draw people in when
Mm-hmm.
nothing else was going on around. Because when you walked onto the site originally, it was like The Walking Dead. I mean, it was like a scene out of that because it was just something that had been neglected. So now, as things have gone on, I mean, it's a totally different. I mean, as you said, you've been here. I mean, it's a
Mm-hmm.
totally different atmosphere. You've got multi-million-dollar apartments and retail space going in right across from us here. You've got parking decks. You've got Iron Hill Brewery. You've got Publico, which is a great taco bar and taco Asian
Mm-hmm.
kind of fusion together. You've got a huge office building that overlooks the ballpark. So there's so many of these different pieces that are coming into place, and this is the largest downtown urban development east of the Mississippi that's going right now in the United States. So we were that engine, and that was always what it was: is how can we draw people in so that we can help to stimulate that investment around us.
And the team, when they play with all the heart you would imagine inside of a baseball club. It's a minor league team, so these are a group of guys that are trying to get their break into the majors. So you've got that kind of full throttle energy going on. You've had some pretty exciting players come through the ballpark in a very short amount of time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Both for us and for the opposing teams. That's the beauty of minor league baseball. Even if your team doesn't have a bunch of prospects, I can guarantee you that there's some coming through with the other teams. So, we've had Ronnie Mauricio, who's a guy who has gotten up with the Mets. We've had
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of different guys that are now up in the big leagues, including one guy that started with us last year that was a reliever for us, and then by the end of the season was up with Kansas City, and literally over the course of 3 or 4 months had gone from single A baseball all the way up to the big leagues, which is not a normal occurrence for sure. But probably the biggest name for us is this guy right here. If everybody has heard of Tim Tebow, which if
Mm-hmm.
you haven't heard of him, you must have been hiding under a rock for the past 20 years. But we were the place where he made his minor league baseball debut, and packed house, 8,000 people at the ballpark, and literally first at bat hits a home run, and the place went absolutely bonkers. I was standing next to the dugout, and I mean, absolute chills, like just with that. So he was a huge draw for us. Obviously, we're down in the South SEC country, so
Mm-hmm.
either love him or hate him, but a lot of people loved him, and so they came out to watch him play baseball here. And then, probably the biggest player to come through with an opposing team, we had Max Fried, who came through with the Braves affiliate in our league, and he's now a perennial starter for the Braves, and been a great player for them. And then one guy that I distinctly remember was he came through with the Nationals affiliate, and I run a lot of times over lunch. I'm running around the ballpark, and I hear that sound. That it just some guys, when it comes off their bat, it's different, and it stops you in your tracks. Heard the sound of it, looked down, saw his number. I said, okay, I'll see who he is during the game. Comes up again, I hear that sound again. No kidding, same guy. He hit one 450 feet to the right field parking lot and over it. And it was Juan Soto. So, a guy that's now a perennial all-star with the Padres now, won a World Series with the Nationals. And that was a guy who literally 5 years ago was playing in this ballpark.
Mm-hmm. I mean and that's the fantastic thing about minor league baseball. It's one of my favorite things to do. Of course, I love going to major league games, but minor league games kind of hit different. They feel different. They're a different level of excitement, especially because now they're really kind of like you said. You built this entire city area that you've got there around the ballpark, so they really become ingrained in that area and become part of the community and really from a small scale to big scale, they're right there. What are some of the exciting things that you guys have in store for this season of the Fireflies?
Yeah, so we heading into this year. This is, I mean, it's crazy to think that we've been around now, heading into pretty much our seventh season or eighth season here. But we're continuing to kind of lean into some of the things that are our bread and butter. Obviously, post game fireworks is probably our most popular promotion.
Mm-hmm.
People love fireworks, and we have really good shows. So any Saturday night or July 3rd, we're going to have fireworks. We've got a Grateful Dead night where it'll be, we have a drum circle that literally plays out on the concourse in the right field corner the entire game. Like, gates open at 6 o'clock, and these people literally are drumming and playing a drum circle until the last pitch of the game is thrown. It's phenomenal. We've got a Grateful Dead tribute band that plays, and we wear jerseys that are themed with one of the Grateful Dead albums. So that's a good one. We've got Chicharrones weekend, which we actually rebrand to the Chicharrones de Columbia, which pork rinds of Colombia. That's a Latin cuisine that is a staple in a lot of those Latin homes. And so that's part of a big push by Major League Baseball to reach out to the Latinx communities to make sure that they're knowing that they can get plugged in with these baseball teams early on. So that one's a fun one. I know you enjoy that logo, especially with your background. It's a pig logo that has the butcher marks on it, but they look like baseball seams. So that's a fun one. We are revealing a food identity here at the beginning of March. I think people will love it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a Southern staple. And so we're going to have some food fight games where we'll actually play against some of the other teams in the league that also have food identities. Charleston becomes the boiled peanuts. Augusta becomes the pimento cheese. And then I think the Kannapolis team, they become the Q's, so barbecues, and they've got a pig with the tail and everything. So we've got some of that. We're shooting a guy out of a cannon. We've done that the past couple years. Unbelievable. He puts a cannon behind second base, literally shoots himself over the infield and lands in a net at home plate. So that's one of those ones where, man, there were 5 seconds where I was like, okay, am I going to have a job in 10 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
He landed in the net. Everything was good, but it's a phenomenal show for that. And then we lean into the kids. Paw Patrol. We have a Paw Patrol night. When you bring those characters out, it's nuts. I mean, sellout game. People show up like crazy. We're doing a Bluey night, which is another big kids show. We've got Marvel nights where we have our own Marvelized logo and everything like that. So it's just something for everybody. I mean, no matter what night it is, we're trying to provide just an entertaining night for everybody.
And it really is. So, guys, if you're anywhere near Columbia, South Carolina during the season, you need to check out the Columbia Fireflies there at Segra Park, which is going to serve as the home for the very first Southeastern BBQ Showdown. And we're really excited because we just had a major announcement hit, which everybody was waiting on. Yes, there's 25 all-star barbecue teams. They are from everywhere, converging down there to be on the outfield concourse and compete to be the first grand champion. But we just found out who the headlining band will be, and it's none other than the legendary Alabama. I mean, that's got to be crazy that on your field, you're going to have a legend in the industry like Alabama play a full concert.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I saw the press release, it kind of sunk in because they had the stats on. I mean, what is it, like 43 Grammys? I mean, and you go back and just over the years, there's not many bands like them that have kind of stood the test of time and are still continuing to have that, just that massive following. So it'll definitely be the largest concert event that we've had here at the ballpark. And so that's exciting. The cool thing with concerts in ballparks, if you've never been to one, is it is a great acoustical setup because the stage will be out in center field. We'll have some pedestrian flooring kind of protecting the grass, but people will actually be able to, some people will be able to purchase tickets out on the field. Other people can sit in the seating bowl. And it's just a really cool atmosphere because there's nothing better than an outdoor concert. And then, I mean, to top it off with the smells that will be going around, it's truly going to be a one-of-a-kind event. And I think for that, I'm salivating at the moment. So we're excited for it, for sure.
I am definitely thrilled. I cannot wait. I'm going to literally not only get to host and MC the barbecue championships, but introduce a band like Alabama there at Segra Park. I mean, it's just a perfect storm for all of us. I mean, you kind of get goosebumps when you think about everything that's going to go on. And the fact that we're going to get to see these teams compete inside a stadium and really kind of bring full circle what it means to be food sport. and to have Segra Park be such an incredible partner. So make sure that you're following the Columbia Fireflies on social media and follow Segra Park. That way you can stay up on what's going on there in the stadium. And then don't forget, follow the Southeastern BBQ Showdown on Facebook, on Instagram, southeasternbbqshowdown.com. Tickets are going to start coming out fast and furious. You're not going to want to miss those because they're going to go fast. And you'll get to hear a great legendary band like Alabama after you have tried some world championship barbecue. What more can you ask for? But there's going to be more, and we'll be releasing more along the way. So make sure you follow all of us on social media. And again, Brad, thank you so much for being on today.
Absolutely. No problem. It's great to just sit and talk and think about this. I think the anticipation has been growing and growing, but I think now that we're getting close and we've announced that band, I mean, man, it feels real right now. So we're excited.
It really does. And I cannot wait to see what this next food jersey is. You have teased me with it for a couple of weeks now. I can't wait to see it. So I'll be watching closely, and make sure you get all of your favorite Fireflies gear while you're at the ballpark. So guys, that's been another episode of Behind the Plate with the Southeastern BBQ Showdown. See you soon.